Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I was going to say, had a few ideas for starting this short one. I thought I'd try and move it along at a bit more of a pace. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? One of the funny things before coming down to this palace where I do my, which is my recording studio, my outbuilding. One of the things I thought I would do was to talk about these funny YouTuber phrases that everyone uses. You know, I'm not going to lie. They always do that one, don't they? You know what? And then I sort of AI'd, Gemini'd, what sort of phrases they use. And some of them were really dull, like at the end of the day. And I couldn't get much inspiration there, but they came up with those too. What I was going to do now, there may be a little kind of hiatus in the middle where I have to pause the camera and go and put our chickens to bed, by the way. I've just got a message from Chloe, who is out and about, and apparently this has to be done. So apologies for that. If I suddenly look a bit shifty, I'll be back. Yeah, it's been great fun. I've relaunched my YouTube channel. I did have one before, you may have seen it, but and thanks to those who followed me there. Please obviously subscribe here if you like it, and like my stuff, and please comment and please feedback. It would be fantastic, or anything that you'd like to sort of talk about here. I haven't really got down to the nitty-gritty of the fishing yet, but I aim to do that. I don't only aim to do that, I am going to do that. I had a few things that I thought might be fun to talk about in this brief kind of window. I mean, fishing news, there is a bit more water up north now, which is fantastic. And it actually caught me by surprise. As you know, I go on about the River Nith a lot in Dumfries and Galloway. That's where I fished for the last 23 years, quite a lot. I fished longer than that, but it wasn't on the Nith, because I first went to the Nith in 2002 in May. Didn't catch anything that time. I went up for 2 or 3 days. Well, I caught some sort of bug. I was stupid enough to drink some, yeah, I know, river water. I can't remember if I tried to boil it a bit. There's something. Anyway, I had ingested some river water and it made me really, really sick. So that was a bit disappointing. I couldn't really see any fish in the river. And I ended up going back there again in July of that year. And there's a whole story there. I'm not really going to tell it now, except to say that that's when I caught my first fish, 2 fish actually, on a nice bit of summer water coming through. And it was a fantastic thing. And that's when I thought, do you know what? I like this river. Isn't that one of the phrases? Do you know what? Maybe. So I had some ideas for what I could talk about here. You'll see that I'm wearing, this is a really ancient England shirt. It says England 4, Germany 2 on it. You know, these are the sort of score lines we like these days when we play Germany. I mean, that was 1966. And then we went, how long? 50 years. I mean, an insane amount of time with Germany beating us. Often with goals that shouldn't have been goals. And you all know what I'm talking about there. And eventually we came to the point where we started to sort of beat them. So that was a really great moment. But yeah, this is my England shirt. It's very battered and old. And apologies, by the way, I've got to smarten myself up. I've probably got to smarten up the backdrop here as well. Because let's face it, it's a bit, you know, I mean, it's got the fishing angle with the fish on here, the fish outlines, but it's not really very smart. But I was still thinking about how I'm going to manage that one. I also think that looking at my I'm waffling now. I'm going to pause this. I'm going to put the chickens to bed and I'll be right back. How does that sound? See you later. Right, I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm not going to lie. That went a bit better than I had anticipated. Bless them, all the hens. We've got 1 cockerel and 9 hens. They had sort of all gathered down towards the hen house, and it wasn't such a big deal to get them in. Actually, I must apologise, the light's not very good. Anyone who likes night sea trout fishing will be kind of happy with this kind of gloomy set. But it is whatever it is, about 6:15 p.m. You know, on, what is it? Early September. So it's getting a bit dark now. Sorry about that. I quite like gloomy light, but then that's just me. I also really like natural light, you know? So we could have a bit of feedback about that. Do you like bright lights, natural light? You don't really want to shine bright lights over a river or anything like that, even in the daytime, really. We could do. It wouldn't make much difference. It wouldn't make much difference to salmon anyway. I remember one of the things that really kind of hit me about salmon fishing when I really moved on to it from trout fishing, basically, was bitter sea trout fishing. Out on the west coast I did. Yeah, that was good. One of the things that really I liked was the fact everything was a bit more heavy duty. Everything was a bit more... I mean, I loved the tackle. I loved the way you could use 15-pound fly leader. You know, yeah, I liked all that. I liked the bigger hooks. I liked the bigger line. I liked the bigger rods. The large size Marquis reels, of which finally now I've got 1 or 2. And all of that's a really nice thing. So yeah, I mean, those phrases, they are quite fun. I was just thinking earlier, I was saying about how I'm going to glam up this backdrop. I wouldn't hold your breath, okay? I'm not absolutely sure that it's going to happen soon. But the reason is, the trouble is, sorry about this, but it is my vlog, it's my YouTube channel. And so I'm going to call the shots here, if that's okay with you. Sorry, I'm just being stupid. I will actually, I'd like you to feedback, and it'd be brilliant if we can make this thing organic, going both ways. But the thing about this backdrop is my great fishing friend Charlie was very funny. He said to me, he looked at the early versions of this, which you can see up there, and he said, Henry, suddenly you've caught more fish. And what I'd actually done was I've been going over the outlines of the salmon behind me with a kind of black marker pen or whatever it is. By the way, always take a black marker pen with you when you go fishing. It's useful. Very useful is the right way to say it. Very useful because it has all sorts of applications. You can use it to darken a fly or lure, you know, and, you know, basically change the colour of things. And I am just being... I don't believe it. I'm going to have to pause this because my daughter is calling me. I'm going to be right back. Yeah, I'm back again. I am sorry about that. This is all getting a bit cut short now. I won't go into the reasons, but it's something to do with dinner. I think what we've got is some pizza that's just arrived. You know, surprise pizza. Okay, fair enough. So apparently it's getting cold and stuff like that. So I'm going to hurry up a bit here. I was telling the story, yeah, Charlie said, suddenly you caught all these fish. It just makes me laugh so much. I've been carefully going, I was going on about marker pens, yeah. Well, anyway, I just sort of hyped up, you know, don't believe the hype, not all of it. I hyped up some of the fish I caught behind me. They are all fish I caught. I didn't just make them up and sort of draw new ones. I suppose, you know, and I have caught more than the ones that are behind me here. There's one on the back, actually. I'll have to show you that one day. We'll go kind of roving with the camera. And what were the other things I was thinking? I was also thinking, this is recorded on the phone, and I want to get some proper gear to record it with, especially a mic. And I know it's a bit metallic, isn't it? I mean, I don't think it's bad, the kind of sound. It's a Huawei handset. It's not too bad, but it's not the best either. So before I kind of faff around too much, I was going to talk about, you know, fashion on the river and all that sort of thing. I was going to talk about the whole Sims thing makes me smile a bit. Always, all my fishing life, I was fishing often with guys who would have the uniform, you know, the Sims waders, the other Sims things, wading boots and so on. I never had these things. I did have other things, you know. I'm not saying poor me. I mean, I've been quite lucky actually, because at times I've had some fantastic hardy waders. I mean, my current ones are Orvis actually, and there's a story behind that. I'll try and remember to tell you the story of how I sourced, how I acquired my Orvis waders a few years back. But anyway, the whole Sims thing, I quite like Sims, and I've got a couple of Sims t-shirts. I just think they're really cool. I've also got a Sims hoodie. I really like that one, which has got sort of a trout, which is done in the style of a tree trunk, if you know the one I mean. I mean, I got it from Farlow's Sportfish as a birthday present, I think, from my lovely family. They give me vouchers and things to spend there, which is fantastic. So I try not to spend it all on things like leader material and Maxima and salmon flies and things, because I don't feel that's quite the point. I always try and get something. And actually, I did get one of those great pairs of Sims wading boots that were recently in the Farlow's sale. So that was quite a nice thing to get a 99 quid pair of boots. They're normally 200. I've got these things. And they're currently worn with the Orvis. Did I say Orvis waders? Yeah, they are Orvis. So that's all good. I love the way, though, you know, people will go around with the Sims waders, which are very nice. They're very kind of fitted, aren't they? They look pretty nicely kind of tailored, and I bet they work well. And it just makes me laugh. And the funniest thing I ever saw was one of those sort of, you know, those car air fresheners, you know, the things that hang off the mirror, the rear view mirror. What's that mirror called in the middle of the windscreen? Answers in the comments, please. Anyway, it's one of those, a little mini version of Sims photos hanging off there. I don't know why that makes me laugh so much. It's just a bit crazy. Right, I'm running out of steam a bit here. Pizza's calling. I'm going to really have a think to try and, I keep saying this, to be a bit more organised. I'd really like to talk about some fishing, and I'd also really like to have some of your fishing experience, or even, you know, questions or things you'd just like to bounce around a bit. We could sort of throw it open maybe. I suppose ultimately I'd really like to do some interviews and bring in some really cool people who might be up for contributing. That would be fun. Anyway, I'm going to go now. Tight lines if you're out fishing. See you soon.